Happy New Year! It's Lara here with Witchy Wednesday for the week of January 3rd to 10th, 2018. We made it. I don't know about you, but happy to see 2017 to close the door on that and to move into a new year on the traditional calendar. With a shift in energies and looking forward to what's ahead for all of us. So I hope that you survived the holidays. I don't know about you. I don't know how your holidays were, how busy they were, but I'm feeling quite tired still and a little bit better than last week, but still quite tired. And so, I've sort of learned over the years to kind of ease into the new year. I'm not one to make big changes, right out of the gate. It's more about laying the foundations for me at this point in the year. And so, if you're not really feeling it right now and you're still dragging your butt a little and feeling a little bit tired, that's okay. It's normal at this time of year. Take your cues from nature. And, really, the new year begins on the astrological wheel when the sun moves into Aries. Really, that's when that fiery action sort of starts to happen, right? Above the surface more. And so cut yourself some slack right now if you're not feeling like, you really have that much enthusiasm and energy. That's totally normal and that's okay. It's really the time to start, maybe like planning and laying the foundation and taking the baby steps, those kinds of things. So, and of course, as always, the reading for today plays into those energies beautifully. And before I get to that, I just want to remind you that if you want to get a personal reading with me, you can do that on my website, Newell-Barrette.ca, on the services page. And over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see some new offerings and changes there, as I've been talking about. I'm working at my to-do list, and I will get those up as soon as possible. And I'm quite excited about it and the changes that are coming moving forward. You're also, I should tell you now that I'm also going to be suspending my e-courses. And, for a while, I'm not sure how long. I'm not sure if I'm going to get back to those at some point, or they may take a different form. I've gradually been sort of shifting into a different direction. And so I'm finding that part of what I do right now is just, it's taking too much sort of, too much energy mentally, those kinds of things. And not really where I want to put my focus moving forward for the next little while. And so, as of about January 20th, I will not be involved in those e-courses. But if you have signed up for an e-course in the past, then you still do have access to the lessons. It's just that I won't be in there. I haven't launched a new, class in a while. So any students that are currently in there have been in those classes for quite some time. But you still do have access to those if you want. Okay, so moving on to the reading for today. So what I've done here is I've actually chosen two cards for us. The first card from the Rider-Waite Tarot, I chose sort of as the regular Witchy Wednesday that I normally do, talking about the energies for the week. And then I thought, because this is the first Witchy Wednesday of the new year, that I would choose another card as an overall sort of touchstone for the year. My family and I do this. I've mentioned it to you before. We actually did our divination last night. And for the last several years, we've used the same card deck. My kids are quite familiar with it at this point, and it's simple. So it's the Colette Baron-Reid Wisdom of Avalon deck. And so that is the card that I chose our reading, our sort of, as I said, card as a touchstone for the year. I chose one for us as well today. And, once again, it just plays into the energies and the astrology really perfectly. So I'll spend just a teeny bit of time talking about the astrology, because I've mentioned a lot of this already to you in the last few readings of what are the really significant, important things that are going on, overall. And there's not that much happening this week in terms of major changes or shifts that haven't already started, aside from, maybe one thing that I'll mention. So we have just come out of this pretty significant full moon that happened on New Year's Day, full moon in Cancer. And you may have been feeling, extra sort of emotional and, it may have been a little touchy for a lot of people. And so we're coming out of that now. And the moon has shifted into Leo. So a little bit more fun and a little bit more creative, good time to do things with kids. It's a good time to get some attention too, and some recognition for yourself. And it's a good time for big-heartedness and generosity, those kinds of things. So the moon moves signs, quite quickly. And so it just spends a couple of days in each sign. And so on the weekend, it'll move into Virgo and we'll have another shift of energy. And then again, I think on Monday, it shifts into Libra. So if you're looking at wanting to connect with sort of, almost daily shifts in energy or every couple of days, then really paying attention to the moon and where it's at and the moon cycles is quite beneficial. So aside from that, we've got what I've mentioned to you several times before over the last few readings is all of this Capricorn energy, right? That's still going on and will be for some time, most notably Saturn in Capricorn for the next 2.5 years. And also the sun is still in Capricorn until I think it's the 19th of January. We have Venus in Capricorn right now too. And Pluto is also in Capricorn and will be for the next, it's about halfway through its transit there. So years to come. But so there's a lot of Capricorn energy that's quite significant. And will have an impact on all of us. And there's also what I've mentioned before, Jupiter is in Scorpio. And so, we've talked about that in the past, and I'm not going to touch on that too much. But you'll see how, sort of, as I mentioned, our touchstone card that I pulled for us for the year really plays into that kind of those aspects and that energy. So I'm just looking if there's anything else I want to mention to you. Oh, so the one sort of significant thing that's happening this week or today really is that Uranus, the planet Uranus, is going direct. So it's been retrograde for a while now, and since I can't remember when, but it's been in Aries since 2011, and it's shifting out of Aries in May of this year. And so, or kind of at the final stages of that transit. And so this, the fact that Uranus is going direct now, will feel, I think I might have mentioned this last week too, but it will feel a little like, we're being able to move forward, and that there may be some sudden changes and surprises even that come about, and a real feeling, Uranus and Aries, of wanting to liberate ourselves and empower ourselves. And so, New Year energy, that's quite appropriate. So I'm going to get to the card that I chose for the week from the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. And the card that came up for us this week is the Knight of Swords. So just take a second to take a look there. So the Knight of Swords is this really powerful energy that's full of life force. It actually reminds me of a movie that we watched last night, A Knight's Tale, which is one of my all-time favorites. But Heath Ledger's character in this movie, if you've never seen it, actually reminds me of the Knight of Swords a little bit in many ways. And so it's this, notion of just coming out of the gate full tilt and charging ahead with courage and ambition, fiercely, with no regard for, the consequences or any obstacles that might be in the way, and, that kind of thing, just charging forward. And as we know, and as I already mentioned, that can be the tendency for a lot of us at this time of year, right? We think like we start, our new diets and our new, exercise routines, or we make these big sweeping statements about, goals and resolutions. And sometimes it can just be all a little bit too much too fast. And we're not really thinking about the long-term consequences. And we're not really thinking about, is this sustainable? So the Knight of Swords energy needs to be balanced, and we need to it's okay to feel that push of energy and that desire to get things done and that ambition to make changes and to plow ahead. But we need to temper that with some, a bit of a reality check and not drain all our energy, and our life force all at once. It's sort of a slow build that we're going for. And so, the Knight of Swords is just reminding us, awesome, if resolutions are your thing, if goal setting's your thing, go for it. But, also be realistic, be gentle with yourself, be compassionate with yourself and with others. Consider how, the long-term plans and consequences and all of those kinds of things. And set yourself up for success, right? And oftentimes, if we just come charging out of the gate with no thought to, the details or the sustainability or anything like that, then we can fizzle out quickly, and it doesn't set us up for success. So that's what the Knight of Swords is talking to us about. And I want to move on to the other card now that I chose for us from, again, the Call It Bear and Read Wisdom of Avalon deck. And, I'll just show it to you first. There's a bit of a glare here, so hopefully you can see that. So it's the card of protection. This is all about the right use of power and protecting what's sacred. And so this plays perfectly into what I was talking to you about in terms of that Saturn in Capricorn energy and the Jupiter in Scorpio energy, the Pluto in Capricorn energy. That all makes perfect sense here, right? And so what I'm going to say is that I think really our theme, or what we might want to come back to time and time again over the course of the year, when we feel like we need a reminder of what, where the focus should be, or again, if we need a touchstone, is this notion of protection, meaning, again, protecting what's sacred to you. That can mean all kinds of different things, right? Protecting your energy, your time, boundary setting, protecting your, your heart, anything that's sacred to you, protecting that. And also, you know, as I said, sort of the right use of power is another theme for this card. So acting in a way that protects your integrity, and your foundations. So this is all connected to that Saturn in Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn, Jupiter in Scorpio kind of theme. And so, you know, just keep this in mind moving forward. And protection doesn't mean, you know, in this regard, like keep everybody out, you know, put up, you know, barriers, although boundaries and barriers, different things, right? But it's, you know, and not in a sort of fearful way, but in a way that allows you to get the job done, right? Capricorn energy is about getting the job done. It's about having the ambition and laying the foundation and being confident in our abilities and one step in front of the other, and really using our power in a productive and methodical way that's very much in integrity. Not about the misuse of power or the overuse of power. It's you know, not about that in its highest form. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. I'm going to leave it there. And I know that was, you know, maybe a lot of information to take in. If you have any questions or you want some clarification, then by all means, reach out to me in whichever way you're comfortable with, whether it be leaving a comment here on YouTube or on Facebook, or, you know, messaging me or emailing me, whatever works for you. And I'm happy to interact with you. And I really appreciate your support here. You know, I would love it if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel and interact in whatever way that you're comfortable with. And again, if you would like a personal reading with me, then please take a look at the services page of my website. And, you know, we could look at overall themes for you for the coming year if you're looking for some guidance and some foundation there. Okay, so I will talk to you next week. Maybe even sooner. I have a couple of ideas in mind for other videos outside of the scope of Witchy Wednesday. So, you know, if I have the energy, I'll get to that before next Wednesday. In the meantime, again, Happy New Year. Go easy on yourself, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.